won the toss, they deferred, so Mississippi State will receive it. And we'll see Jeff Lebby's offense start from the 25-yard line with this true freshman, Michael Van Buren. Lebby, the head coach at Mississippi State, has been one of the best play callers in all of college football. You see him in the middle of your screen wearing that white hat right there. And Andrews, Texas native, OU grad, was at his alma mater last year as the offensive coordinator. And those offenses were prolific, Matt. They one of 3 in the country in the top 6 last year in total offense scoring and passing. It is total rebuild mode at Mississippi State, but he's installing that quick up-tempo offense. And listen to Sanford Stadium on the first play of the game. Van Buren gives it off to Booth, and he doesn't get much. Jalen Walker on the tackle.
Well, what's not really understood about Jeff Lebby is he is a run-game offensive coordinator. Expect him to keep it on the ground predominantly here this afternoon.
But he always goes in a hurry. Quick throw to Mario Craver, another true freshman, and Craver tackled by Dan Jackson, who's been everywhere the last few weeks.
Dan Jackson does such a good job of diagnosing. Expect him to be very involved in run support from his safety position.
Third down between the hedges. Laser that's in front of Kevin Coleman. It's a 3 and out for Van Buren in State.
Start out trying to get that ground game going. It's going to be a challenge for Mississippi State in general, but especially in obvious passing downs. It looks like they're going to be without Kalen Pounders, their starting left tackle, number 66. It was true freshman Luke Work out there to start the game for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, good call, Matt. Pounders was ill last night. He did go through warm-ups, though. Nick Barmira with the punt. It's a short one, but it takes a Mississippi State bounce inside the 20 and down near the 16-yard line. That's a 56-yard punt for the transfer from UCLA. And here comes Carson Beck and the Dogs, the 5th-year senior from Jacksonville. School record 72% completion rate last year. Didn't have as strong of a start this year, Stinch, but last week was more like it, 23 of 29.
You see more of that consistency. We talked about it at the top. They need to make sure that they get their quarterback in Carson Beck comfortable with the pass protection. A couple of times last week, a 3-man rush able to sack the quarterback for Georgia.
And throwing on the first play, gets it out, and it's dropped by Arian Smith. It was thrown low. Not the easiest of balls for Arian to handle. And as Alyssa said in the open there, Matt, Colby Young is not playing. He's indefinitely suspended. More on that coming up. You have 2 offensive linemen that aren't dressed today. Injuries and availability have been part of the story, especially on offense for Kirby Smart. On 2nd and 10, that ball's batted in the air, and it's picked off. Off the carom, Bryce Pollock, the sophomore that grew up an hour from here, just made an interception in his home state.
And it was a stunt by Brandon Jenkins, number 44, who was able to get that deflection. Watch 44 elevate. As soon as he sees Beck load up, looks like it came off his helmet. And a fantastic takeaway to start the game for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. You see Beck, whenever you see a deflection, especially when it's towards the middle of the field, those defenders got a great opportunity to make a play on the ball and did.
Kid from Shiloh High School here in Georgia with the moment of his collegiate career, and the Dogs have a short field. That's Mississippi State Dogs at the Georgia 26. They'll go to the ground. Not much for Daniels. moves the pile ahead 1.5 yards in the interior of that line. Malachi Starks came up from his safety spot, and C.J. Allen, the middle linebacker, the communicator, on the tackle.
Mississippi State just outside the red zone, not very proficient at this end of the field. Only coming away with scores 78% of the time, only 18 trips into the red zone. They're 4 yards shy of it even now.
Again, it's Daniels and it's Ingram Dawkins in the backfield. If there's been a star for UGA on defense up front, it's been big number 93.
He does such a good job. He works right across the face of left guard Jacoby Jackson. He wins right now. Able to get upfield quickly. Georgia has been able to penetrate early on in this game.
On 3rd and 13, Van Buren stands in there but throws behind Craver. Was hit as he threw the ball. It'll be 4th down, so the Mississippi State offense goes the wrong way.
See Van Buren as the pocket collapsing. More than anything else, obviously the throw was off target. You don't want to lose even more yards after that negative yardage play. Come away with points off of the early takeaway.
Kyle is 16 of 22 last year, 4 of 5 this year. This is from 47. It'd be the longest field goal he's made this year. Mississippi State scores first. Off of an interception from a Georgia kid. It's 3-0 Mississippi State on the road in Athens. That's a bad throw.
Catch it.
Kirby Smart, 48-year-old head coach of the Dogs, first team All-SEC defensive back in the Stinchcomb era. That's the John Stinchcomb era. I'm kidding. It's the Matt and John Stinchcomb era. Of course, won 2 national championships. That ball goes out of bounds. And it'll give his offense some good field position. Matt.
Free kick, out of bounds, kicking team. Ball he placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. Georgia didn't have a turnover in any game coming into this one except the Alabama game. They had 4, and that one they had 1 on the first drive just a minute ago.
Yeah, had that kind of doink deflection right there at the line of scrimmage. Low throw from Carson Beck on the opener, dropped by Arian Smith. Choppy start for the Georgia offense.
Pop pass ahead goes to Anthony Evans. The kick returner is seeing more action on offense these days due to others not being available.
You get a guy like Anthony Evans, as you mentioned, get him in space. These punt returners, he's a very decisive return man. So an easy way to get him a touch, counts as a pass, effectively a handoff, get the ball out there on the perimeter. There's something to watch for in this game is the off coverage by Mississippi State. They're willing to concede a lot of cushion off the line of scrimmage.
Every play a pass so far, and this one goes to Lucky, and it comes out. Let's see if that's a catch and a fumble. It was Pullock that was there again. He had the interception, and let's see if that's called a fumble on the field. Yeah, that's a catch and then a strip.
Great job by Pullock. He just punches this ball out. So you see him control the receiver with your left arm and punch it out with your right. Involved in nearly 2 takeaways.
Coach Smart not happy about it. Pullock with a dream start back near his hometown. It's just a 3-yard pickup. This one goes forward to Arian Smith, and Smith is right near a first down to the Mississippi State 45.
So you can see a similar philosophy for Mississippi State. They will change it up. But versus Texas, they are effectively conceding the first 10 yards of any route. And it's like a catch and capture. Catch the football if you can, rally to the tackle and get them on the ground.
Trevor Etienne's been standing next to Beck on every play, hasn't gotten the ball until now. And Trevor squirts through there. That's what Coach Smart liked so much last week against Auburn. Mentioned it in his post-game press conference. He said he got the hard yards last week in that victory.
Yeah, the after contact. It hasn't been clean. In fact, coming into this game, Georgia towards the bottom, 15th in the conference in yards before contact. The yards in the ground game have been hard earned so far this season.
7 for the transfer from Florida. Spins again and goes forward right near the chains down to the 36. Stone Blanton, the former Gamecock, on the tackle.
See a little extracurricular holding up Dylan Bell downfield as Georgia tried to get up quickly. Yeah. So we went from Dylan Bell being held up downfield, and Georgia's trying to run a quick play, and it looks like a cramp might have grabbed somebody.
Mississippi State, they're first with the half.
I thought it was the other program in the Magnolia State that was getting all the scrutiny for this.
Yeah, there must be something in the water. Maybe not enough electrolytes down there.
Hunter Washington, hope he's all right.
So take a look. About the 25. So Washington tries to call timeout, and he injured himself as he was trying to make that timeout. That's a first. You don't see that very often. Had a lower body injury calling timeout. Maybe I could see a dislocated finger perhaps, but not this time. So it's pretty evident what was happening.
For whatever it's worth, Washington did come back this year from a late season injury last year.
Maybe a brief recurrence. I will say he's staying in character, that's for sure. See Jeff Lebby, as we mentioned, it's an offensive-minded coach, former offensive line guy, hard-nosed guy. He's trying to see if his defense can get a stop here on a 3rd and short.
The Mississippi State.
I think what he's saying is, I did not call timeout.
Well, let's see if they credit.
As they charge Mississippi State
due to
with
the
a
injury,
timeout.
Mississippi State will retain their timeout.
It's interesting. You see, and Kirby Smart's on the other side going, come on now. You saw the kid signal for timeout and then get injured.
Just a reminder, Ole Miss plays tonight at LSU, 7:30 on ABC.
For more theatrics. Very method.
On that 3rd and 1, there's a first down run, but boy, did Etienne take a lick there from Stone Blanton. Blanton and Corey Ellington both were there. Yeah, they both got him. It looked like Blanton first. Blanton's old team, the Gamecocks, left everything on the field in Tuscaloosa, and that thriller today won by the Tide, but Stone is a lifelong Mississippi State man. Branson Robinson comes in after Etienne took that hit for his first rep of the game, and he takes the handoff. They're waiting for Branson to bust out. He gets down to the 28-yard line, missed all of last season with that injury that he sustained in August of 2023. And it looks like Georgia wants to go quick.
So watch this, got a couple of backside pullers. Huge hole, just run right down the hash mark.
And on 2nd and 2, now they toss it to Branson. Can't get much. Isaac Smith and Chris Keys were there. Smith leads the SEC in tackles, and he missed one of the games.
Just got Isaac Smith back. He's been banged up. They're happy to get him back, and of course, Robinson, a guy that Georgia's been working to get going in the ground game, just could not turn the corner.
Coach Bobo called 5 straight passes to start the game, 5 straight runs. Now it's 3rd and 2. Here's a pass for Beck. Nothing open. Running around, throws to the end zone. And Dylan Bell can't make the grab. Good coverage down there in the end zone. It's Bryce Pullock again.
You can see in the scramble drill. And you can take up the protection, held up nicely. Just nowhere to go with the football. Decides to give it a shot. Great job downfield, disrupting that pass right at the tail end of it. Dylan Bell, a trusted receiver, but Pullock once again showing up big.
I think he's fired up for this one. Peyton Woodring's been terrific, the sophomore from Lafayette, Louisiana. This from 45 yards. And he remains perfect on the season. 3-3 here in the first quarter on a beautiful day in Athens.
SEC Network Football is presented by the Sonic $1.99 menu. Live free, eat Sonic.
See, I didn't realize Bully and Uga also had other names too, like Dak and Boom. So they have one name that all of the dogs are referred to, like all of the Ugas, and then they have their individual name as well. And Bully gets the same thing. Uga enjoying a Chamber of Commerce day today here in his hometown.
I wonder, does Bully have an air-conditioned doghouse like Boom? Boom's down there living the life. That dog leads a better life than most humans in this stadium.
Dari Noka grew up watching the Red River rivalry. Let's take it back to the studio.
Yeah, indeed, TC. Got to say it slow. Not good call by you. Oklahoma up 3-0. Texas goes 10 plays, 75 yards. Quinn Ewers, little throw back to Gunnar Helm, his second big catch on the drive. Touchdown, Texas, and they lead it 7-3 in the second, guys.
Good to have that game as an SEC game. Kind of like Georgia and Florida split down the middle there in the old Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Of course, the UGA will play Florida in a few weeks down in Jacksonville.
What a cool rivalry to have in the Southeastern Conference. Add yet another storied rivalry.
You know, Kirby Smart told our old friend DJ Shockley he wanted out to make some noise today. They're doing their part so far. As Mississippi State starts at the 25, and the handoff goes to Booth, and that's the best play we've seen from Mississippi State so far, at least on the ground. 5 yards.
Right now, Mississippi State, prior to that play, kind of an interesting stat line. 3 points on the board, but 0 total yards. They went backwards in their second offensive possession after that takeaway. But rest assured, they are not going to get away from the run game. This defense will be challenged to face the rushing attack.
Van Buren goes back to Booth again, and Booth doesn't get much. Jonel Aguero blossomed into a top-end SEC defensive back as a sophomore made the tackle.
They've been very excited about Aguero ever since he's arrived here. It's these third downs that have been a challenge. This is the first manageable third down Mississippi State has had in this game.
Look at all this movement pre-snap.
Georgia had they called timeout. They tried to substitute really late. Gabe Harris.
Timeout, Georgia. They're first of the half.
I'm over here counting. I thought they were down a
30 seconds
defender.
late.
Gabe Harris came out late, and he was actually substituting onto the field for Ingram Dawkins. Not very good execution there from a personnel standpoint.
As a reminder, coming up next, Kentucky host Vanderbilt. And it's also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. SEC Saturday night, presented by T-Mobile. Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt are leading the life after the win against Alabama and carrying the goalpost into the Cumberland River. How about the closing speed from Alyssa Lang to grab Pavia after the game last week?
Right. She's been working on her tackling. In fact, that might have been one of the better ones that we've seen on the season.
I think he's still running away from me, actually.
I used to want to race you, not anymore.
I have bruises on my body from getting that post-game interview.
Alyssa's listening to Sanford Stadium on a 3rd and 3. Van Buren throws another slant, and it's wide. He's looking for Coleman again.
The big challenge, we talked about it. This is not a full-strength offensive front for Mississippi State. They're obviously very cognizant of that. Ball's coming out very, very quickly. They don't want to allow that pass rush to get home. So far, the Georgia defense has proven to be stout, forcing Mississippi State backwards.
7 total yards and 3 possessions for Mississippi State. Best play so far has been a Barmira punt. This is another terrific one. As Anthony Evans breaks tackles, but then gets depleted at the 19-yard line. Nice tackle by Burnside. It is as good as it looks here today. Three to 3, midway through the first quarter. Georgia has the football. Carson Beck is 17-2 as a starter, 13-1 last year. One of the most accurate quarterbacks in SEC history. In fact, he's 3rd all time, 69.8% completion rate. First team preseason All-American. And Beck wants to throw here on the first play of this drive. Down the field has a receiver, incomplete. Hit off the numbers of Ben Urasic. And Urasic looked like at the end their finger got in there, Stinch.
Corey Ellington able to get his hands up, almost picks that football. Put a little bit more air on it, either that or get it out there quicker. Instead, a little flat, and Ellington missed a chance for a takeaway.
Urasic was streaking down there, but Beck couldn't hit him. So now on 2nd down to the ground they go, and it's Etienne. Not much, gets a few there to be 3rd down, but a flag's going to come in.
It'll be a face mask, it looks like, on that attempted tackle on Etienne. He was definitely had the attention of the Mississippi State defensive coaching staff.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. 15 yards will be added to the end of the play. Automatic, 1st down.
That was Ellington coming up, run support, nearly had the pick, then gifts a 1st down and a half's worth of yardage with the face mask penalty. And talking with Coleman Hutzler, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, he was like, man, this #1 for Georgia, he's special. He was a guy that for sure had his attention to get that ground game going with him.
I think that the Florida coach, Billy Napier, made it clear to us how special he was last week and how much he missed him. And there's the new defensive coordinator, Mr. Hutzler. Quick throw to the sideline to Evans, and Evans gets a few out to the 45-yard line. We were talking about Carson Beck as Coleman Hutzler tries to stop him today. Beck isn't the most vocal guy you'll ever hear at the quarterback spot. Certainly Kirby Smart is vocal as the head coach. But Carson was saying to us yesterday that, you know, when the coaches are always yelling instructions to you, I want to try to instill confidence in my teammates. Very good at that in small groups, the coaches say. Look at all this time. He has the throw, and he finds a wide open Arian Smith sitting between defenders inside the 30.
Well, Beck has had the time to deliver this time, just enough to extend this pocket for Arian Smith to kind of sift behind the zone coverage and sit down, show his quarterback his hands and numbers, and give him a target. Beck able to find him downfield.
Smith only had 20 catches in 4 years. Stench, she has 20 this year. Now for Georgia. It's Nate Frazier, and he gets down to the 26, Alyssa.
Just talking about Carson Beck and the way he instills positivity in his teammates. You get tough coaching here at Georgia, but there's also a lot of outside noise. So he's very focused on making sure his wide receivers are hearing that positivity. We asked him yesterday, who's that voice for you? You're the quarterback. You get the most noise of all. He said, I guess it's myself. Over the years I've been at Georgia, I've learned how to deal with a lot of things. At the end of the day, you're the most important voice in your head. That mental health and mental side of things for Carson is an area that he's really worked on over the years.
Came across just so level-headed to me yesterday in speaking with him. Fakes to Etienne, wants to throw down the seam to the end zone. Incomplete. Smith had a chance. Rilo Lanier was running with Smith down there.
Yeah, and Smith, these are the type catches that he just hasn't been able to corral this year. It's reminiscent of the drop that you saw versus Alabama. And if he has to extend, he's had a great deal of difficulty of coming up with these downfield throws. That throw was there, just was unable to get control of that football.
3rd and 7 now. First down throw inside the 10, 1st and goal to London Humphreys. Cash Jones with a big block in the backfield.
Cash Jones is in there because of his pass protection ability. And London Humphreys, who they just got back to Georgia's offense last week versus Auburn, and offensive coordinator and play caller Mike Bobo, he talked about he's one of the guys that they have trust in. He couldn't have shown up at a better time at receiver.
This is where Coach Bobo's play calling has been terrific. 15 touchdowns in 21 red zone trips. Robinson, touchdown, Georgia. Stinch's old quarterback threw up another good one there. And Robinson finds the end zone for the 3rd time this year. And Woodring remains perfect on the season. 8 plays, 81 yards, 3 minutes and 21 seconds.
Yeah, this was a well-blocked play near the goal line. Great job climbing up to the 2nd level. There's one guy to beat. Robinson, who's run the ball better already in this game than he has all season, but he has been excellent in short yardage and goal line runs. This time able to find his way in the end zone again.
I know the way you watch the game, watching those guys up front. No Tate Ratledge, no Jared Wilson. What'd you think there?
I thought that was about as well as you could block it. He did a great job. The challenge that you've seen, when you've got new guys in there, new faces and new places, then guys have to learn how to work with one another up front. I think the coaches will be pleased with how they executed on that run play down in the short, low red zone area. Kirby Smart, who's been very animated on the sideline, even early in this one, had to be pleased with that drive that his offense is able to put together.
Has to be pleased with the crowd so far, too. All the noise that they've created. UGA sideline reporter DJ Shockley talked to him after the game last week, and Coach Smart was not pleased with everyone leaving early against Auburn.
I'm a little disappointed, and I'm probably disappointed in our fans for the first time that I thought there was, a lack of really affecting the game, crowd noise-wise, passion and energy. And
we're a team, we're a unit, and I think it's okay to say how you feel and try to pull the family together and pull in the right direction.
There's no question that it is okay to do that, because everybody has an impact on your team's performance, and the guy he worked for forever in Tuscaloosa used to say that all the time too, and Nick Saban.
It's an easy thing. It kind of creeps up on you in a fan base. The expectations can get a little too heightened.
A little razzle-dazzle, and it's Coleman who had trouble corralling the ball on the reverse, and he only gets a few. Chaz Chambliss on the tackle after one.
That's a heck of a play by Chaz Chambliss. And he's somewhat of an underappreciated, unheralded defender for Georgia. Stout versus the run, stayed at home, defeated a block, and then able to get a fast mover in space on the ground.
Van Buren pumps now, throw, one-on-one ball over the head of his intended target, Coleman. Dan Jackson was stride for stride with the receiver.
It's been a challenge. We have not seen Mississippi State try to put the ball in the air much, certainly not on a second down or earlier downs. It's been these third and longs that have been a true challenge, the obvious passing downs.
Van Buren's just 1 for 5. His team is 0 for 3 on third down.
Illegal snap. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Well, Taylor, you talked about it. You know, the crowd, they answered the challenge. It's been loud on third downs. And you can see a snap just late coming up from Ethan Miner. It's like he wanted to snap it, was a little bit more hesitant. A tough third down made even more difficult now, moving backwards with that procedure penalty. Michael Williams is on the field right here versus the true freshman.
Flags are down. Van Buren is up past the 25 where Jalen Walker tackles him.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 51 was lined up in the backfield. That penalty is declined. Result of play is fourth down.
So it's 3rd and 10 plus. You're a true freshman. You're playing because the starter got the flu, and you got Michael Williams. So here he is right here, your edge blocker in Luke Work, and he's so far off the ball. He's trying to get that head start. When it's loud, you don't hear the clap. So the defense, they typically move before you can. Big Luke was like, I'm gonna get a head start just in my alignment.
Like a 2-yard head start.
Yeah.
Evans with the fair catch on a 41-yard punt. So Georgia now up 10-3 with the football after a solid drive by Carson Beck that led to a touchdown last time out. Georgia ranked 5th in the country, hosting Mississippi State this week. Mike Bobo, 50-year-old former quarterback for Georgia, on the staff for 14 years in the Mark Richt era. Then went to Colorado State as the head coach, offense coordinator at Auburn, South Carolina. Has been back for Kirby Smart on his staff for 3 years now. There's a quick pass to Etienne, and Trevor again fighting for extra yardage. The one thing that Mike said to you yesterday was we must be more consistent up front. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, with the fundamentals, you know, to clean up the small things, where how you step, where your hat placement. That time they just moved the line of scrimmage to the perimeter and asked the receivers to block for Etienne.
Same play, basically. And Etienne gets loose for a first down this time.
Exactly right. You get that first play, think there's maybe some more yards left on the field. If you block it more cleanly, they went right back to it. So it's the same Mike Bobo talked about how Carson Beck is elite, getting that ball out of his hands quickly, accurate throw. It's just an extended handoff. Move that line of scrimmage and let your big bodies block the DBs. He's got his son out there throwing the first pass of every snap, and Drew Bobo at center.
Frazier's in. Good hit on Beck, and Lucky almost was able to make the catch. Brandon Jennings was back there in Beck's kitchen.
It's a couple of times now for Brandon Jennings. That time, just get lost in the protection. It's a full slide protection. That means all the offensive line is working to the left, and Jennings just got kind of lost in the wash. Did not get picked up and got a free run. That ball kind of hung up in the air on Beck as he got hit as he threw.
It could be the last play of the quarter. It's the 23rd offensive play that Georgia's run so far. It's another one of those quick little passes. It goes to Dominic Lovett. And it'll be third down for UGA when we start the second quarter. Georgia's up 10-3 on Mississippi State at home in Athens, between the hedges. You're watching SEC football presented by Sonic on the campus of the University of Georgia in Athens, where the 5th-ranked Bulldogs host the Mississippi State Bulldogs and lead 10-3. Georgia's defense didn't give up a first down in that first quarter, and they gave up 12 total yards on 12 plays. The offense scored a touchdown last time out. A 3rd and 5 on Mississippi State's side of the field to start the second.
See Carson Beck up there talking to his offensive teammates. He's got the authority to make a change. Saw the defense, went up, audible to a different play.
Time to throw here, and another wide open receiver inside the 30. It's Lovett sitting down in a soft spot to the 29-yard line.
Lovett starts out at the top of the screen in the slot. Kind of sits down. It's just a soft spot, and he does a great job, something that Mike Bobo talked about. Does a great job of finding the open space.
And now Lovett gets it quickly and turns the corner near the 20. You were saying, watching film, you were sort of shocked at how deep Mississippi State's defenders play off of the football, at least how they did against Texas and now this week against Georgia, at least on that play 2 plays ago.
We've seen a number of easy access throws from the DBs of Mississippi State.
7-yard pickup there. Etienne dances, gets the corner, but there are flags down. He's in the end zone, and there are 3 pieces of yellow laundry on the ground.
Yeah, they're going to get Monroe Freeling, the guy at right tackle. They're trying to get going.
Holding, offense, number 57. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
This happens quite a bit when you get these bounce runs. So here's Freeling right here. He'll get engaged. You see the slant up front, gets engaged. You see the runner. When the runner bounces outside, you got to let go. You see, it's easy for the official. When they see that jersey get pulled out, they're just begging for it. 57 has played pretty good football, a guy that's coming on, and they need him to play better ball, so it gives them more flexibility inside without Tate Ratledge at guard. Allows them to move Truss, who's probably better suited to play inside, along with Big Micah Morris and Dylan Fairchild. A three-man rotation that way.
Now on the 2nd and 13, Beck swings it out to Robinson. Branson stays on his feet inside the 25, and be 3rd and more manageable. To finish your thought about the offensive line, interesting to see if Jared Wilson, the starting center, and Tate Ratledge are back for that Texas game next Saturday, as Robinson is still down.
Robinson got cut down right at the end of that run after catch and did not bounce up very quickly. Obviously still on the ground working on it.
Missed all of last season with an injury. Sophomore from Canton, Mississippi.
take a look back at Branson Robinson's injury. Watch his right leg. Right at the end of that tackle, it looked like the leg got bent back kind of awkwardly. He tried to get up after this. You see it better from that angle probably. He did his best to get up, ended up walking off under his own power. And this has probably been one of his better games. Certainly a well-rounded one, a couple of catches.
Alyssa reports he's in the tent right now being checked out on this 3rd and 8. So he's out of the game. Cass Jones, Mr. Third Down, is in there.
Mississippi State showing pressure. No safety deep.
Another quick throw. This to Smith. Smith can't break free, so down to the 21-yard line. Bulldog defense going to force a field goal attempt. Hunter Washington on the tackle for MSU.
Georgia's lining up quickly. They're looking up. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. At least try to bluff.
Could stand corrected here. Still have 20 seconds to go on this play clock on this 4th and 2, and they're the best in college football on this play. 5 for 5 in Tuscaloosa a couple weeks ago. 8 for 9 on the season. And they're going. And they got it. 9 for 10 as Oscar Delp makes his 4th catch of the year.
How about that? We get out there quickly, make the defense undress. So see what it is that they're going to do. And then just Delp just is able to get out there, just sit down. Easy pitch and catch that time. Great location on the football. Delp able to come up with that reception. Has not had the surest of hands this season. That time able to come up with a key one.
Carson's already found 8 different receivers here in the first half. Now 1st and goal, back to the ground. ETN hit in the backfield, and Brandon Jennings called his name a couple of times. Another tackle for loss there.
Great job by Brandon Jennings. He's played well with his hands. He's moved quite a bit. Watch, working against Green right here. Watch him disengage almost right now. Hands inside, wins, gets leverage. Green just gets stood up at the line of scrimmage. Not much movement. Great job by Jennings. As you mentioned, he and Pollock both having a great start to this game.
On 2nd and goal, another pass in the backfield, and again tripped up. Deontay Anderson on the tackle. Will be 3rd down, Alyssa.
Taylor, I just watched Branson Robinson walk into the locker room, slight limp. He looked disappointed. I'm told by Georgia's staff it's a right knee injury. He is out for the remainder of today's game.
Hate to hear that after what he went through last year. Meanwhile, Beck has a 3rd and goal at the Mississippi State 15. 2 consecutive tackles for loss for the Mississippi State defense. Did a lot of that against Texas too. Beck looking down the field, throws over the head of ETN as he faced pressure and went back down to the ground. Travion Williams got to him. 4th down.
Once again, Ernest Green ends up getting walked back into the lap of his quarterback. Part of the problem, though, nowhere to go with the football. At least Beck did not like what he had. Looked like he had Humphrey at the bottom of the formation. So you think you take a score off the board because of the holding penalty, convert a 4th down, only to end up kicking a field goal, or at least attempting one.
Woodring from 33 yards. Georgia should teach a class on how to kick field goals. 13-3, UGA. Georgia's had some slow starts this year. You remember against Clemson to start the game, just 6 points. Against Kentucky, the game you're seeing right there, just 3 points, 7 against Alabama, but they have turned it on in the second half with a plus 73 points margin. Still remarkable they came back to take the lead against Alabama at one point. They're averaging more yards per passing attempt as well, and all those extra touchdowns. Carson Beck has thrown the ball 22 times in this first half, just 9 runs so far, but a lot of those passes are line of scrimmage throws, Snitch.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's like a run extension, right? You just flip the ball out there. let your perimeter offensive players, let them do the blocking, right? Smaller players, more space out there.
Slow start for Mississippi State's quarterback, Alyssa.
Yeah, even though it's been a slow start, it's hard to watch Michael Van Buren and not see that he's a gamer who one day is going to be ready for the SEC, guys. He was thrown in on the road at Texas in his first start as a true freshman, now on the road at Georgia. And Jeff Levy told us this week that he told Michael, it doesn't get harder than this. It only goes up from here. But Michael told me this week he's really been preparing for this his whole career. He played at St. Francis in some high-power high school football games against guys who are on this Georgia roster, on that Texas roster. KJ Bolden, one of those guys for this Georgia team. So he's seen such talent already.
And he is going to hand it off again to Daniels, and Daniels is hit in the backfield, losing 2 yards as Damon Wilson, the second on the tackle. And you think Van Buren, he's supposed to be a backup, right? Blake Shapen was the starting quarterback for Mississippi State, came over from Baylor, had a season-ending injury in that Florida game, which is why Van Buren was pressing in action. And Chris Parson started at the end of last season, and he's been coming in spot duty.
Really haven't gotten it to a down and distance where they could get Parsons involved as a runner at quarterback.
On 2nd and 12, Van Buren throws, beating the defense is Craver. He got him. Craver's tackled down at the 5. Daniel Harris on the tackle, but Craver beat Harris on the play.
Protection held up, and Craver just beat Harris off the line. Had at least 3 steps on him down the field. Van Buren throws a perfect ball downfield. An explosive play for the Bulldogs.
72 yards, 1st and goal at the Georgia 5. To the ground and Daniels not much.
He just hangs this ball up. Van Buren says, look, go get it, kid. And he does it. Ooh, look at Harris. He was not even in position to make a play on that ball. Mario Craver just running away from the secondary. And the Bulldogs knocking on the door. Have not been able to run the football very effectively. Condensed field, hard place to throw the football.
On 2nd and goal, Van Buren's in trouble, throws to the end zone, got it. It's Coleman. Touchdown Mississippi State, but there are flags on the field.
Pass interference, offense, number 5. 15-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's the true freshman Braylon Burnside, who had a special teams tackle earlier.
So Burnside, you'll see, he's running inside route, and I mean, we've seen this called a couple of times. Georgia's had it called on them, incidentally. These low red zone plays, there's a lot of pick routes, we'll call it, rub routes. Offensive PI, I don't know. Looked like there was just a lot of traffic. You see defensive coordinator Glenn Schumann, his unit caught a break right there, taking points off the board.
Georgia has allowed 3 red zone touchdowns all year, all against Alabama, and Mississippi State is going the wrong direction.
And that's a crowd noise. You see the defense stemming, moving their alignment.
False start. Offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And that's the true freshman at left tackle. You got a true freshman in at quarterback, a true freshman forced in there at left tackle. It's loud, and you've got the defense, the entire defensive line, changing their alignment right before the snap.
And Sanford Stadium yelling at a true freshman quarterback on 2nd and goal from the 24. Van Buren rolls, throws, end zone, touchdown, Kelly Akari.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! That's how we eat!
How about that answer by Mississippi State? You get in the end zone, they call offensive pass interference, and all you do is just find a way to rally through it. confusion in the coverage. Malachi Starks was the safety that was deep to that side. Dalen Everett just gets beat downfield.
And it's 13-10 with 8:46 to go in the first half. Van Buren on a big 72-yard completion, put him at the 24-yard line, and then Akari got loose behind the defense. Mississippi State answers. I told you, we cannot let these guys pass the defense. I've told you 100 times. It cannot happen.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
You can tell she's really paying a lot of attention. She's very moved by his observations. Frustration, though, to say the least. Great answer by Mississippi State. There's a lot of adversity at the end of that drive.
Take us back to the touchdown, Stinch.
Yeah, so take a look. Malachi Starks is the safety. He's right here. Here's Dalen Everett. And what happens is Akari comes across, and he looks like he's going to block, and then he releases. Watch Starks. He rolls down. I don't even know what he's thinking. Akari's able to run right past Everett. Everett's got his eyes in the backfield. Really poor eye discipline and recognition by the secondary, and that's after Daniel Harris got beaten deep and after Mississippi State completed a pass in the end zone.
Michael Van Buren's first career touchdown throw comes in Sanford Stadium. Carson Beck back to work. A perfect ball in stride across the middle. Dylan Bell is spinning. They have built quite the rapport in the last 2 years. It's 23 more from the junior from Houston.
One of the favorite targets for Georgia over the past couple of seasons. Hasn't seen as many looks early on in this year. Able to catch one nicely over the middle.
Do-it-all skill player. Flag down here, quick throw, and in some confusion as Lovett was running towards the end zone. Here's more from Kyle Olson.
Illegal shift, offense, left guard, and the motion man were moving at the same time. They never reset. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So they got Dylan Fairchild, who's he's kind of looking around. He popped up out of his stance while Jurasik was running that return motion. Ball in for move, it just wasn't set while the motion man was moving around. Communication looks like error up front.
Toss to Frazier with Jurasik blocking in front, and Nate gets the edge. True freshman from Compton, California, has looked the part so far.
A pin and pull. Get your big man, a screen out there. Just nicked that DB, but it was more than enough for Nate Frazier to get downfield. A toss sweep into the boundary. That is a staple of the Georgia offense.
Second and short on the Mississippi State side of the field now. Beck throws underneath. Good catch by Etienne. Puts his foot in the dirt and gets the first.
A heck of a catch by Etienne. Talk about ways to get number one involved. Hadn't seen a lot of handoffs. Now similar formation down at the bottom of the screen is Etienne. They flipped it out to him. There it is again.
Gets down to the 31.
This is just a heck of a catch. You see it right there. Ended up with one hand on it. He's showing his skill set as a receiver.
I think it's quite clear that Mike Bobo is saying, okay, if you're going to play off of my receivers, I'm just going to get him the football as soon as it's snapped.
Nice blocking, too, with Lawson Lucky and Jurasik out in front. A couple of big bodies in front of your running back.
Now Beck rolls, throws end zone. Bell! Yes! flags down. As it stands, it's a 31-yard touchdown.
Holding, defense, that penalty's declined. Touchdown's good.
There's been plenty of talk, Stinch, about what Georgia doesn't have. Dillon Bell has been terrific in the first half of the season.
Great concentration on the back end of the end zone to high point this football, get his left toe tapped down in bounds.
It is his 4th touchdown catch of the year, and he has 49 catches in the last 2 seasons.
Carson Beck got moved off his spot. Once again, a nice rush by Brandon Jennings. Beats Green almost right now. Beck has to roll to his right and throw on the run. That's a beautiful ball where only your guy can get it. Perfect trajectory. He's able to complete it over Bryce Pollock, who all game has been outstanding.
Beck threw that interception that Pollock ultimately picked off on the first drive. Mike Bobo's offense has scored on the last 4 drives since.
This is quite an answer for Georgia, who needed, obviously, because just got popped in the mouth. Big explosive play versus a defense that so far, at least prior to that spate of passing yards by Mississippi State offensively, has been holding them in check.
Now let's look at Is It In You? Brought to you by Gatorade. How about Michael Van Buren and Mississippi State? Last time they had the football, the 72-yard completion, true freshman to Mario Craver. And then Kelly Akari gets behind a couple of all-SEC defenders. And that was Van Buren's first collegiate touchdown pass.
You know, technically his first. You know, he completed one before in the end zone called offensive PI, right? I mean, this is a guy that in this game, Taylor, we're talking about how heavy the run game has been, really only throwing it on 3rd and 10 plus. And they come out, air it out, took a shot, and were able to hit one.
Van Buren throws, that's way too high for Craver there. Jeff Lebby has instilled some confidence into these Mississippi State offensive players, and no matter what their record is, which is 1-4, he said, have fun, have a great attitude. There's got to be energy. It has to be a culture of belief if we're ultimately going to turn this thing around, and everybody knows that they're going to have to be patient with this roster as Coach Lebby builds it up. On 2nd and 10, again takes a shot down the field. Incomplete. Kevin Coleman was trying to fight for the football, but Julian Humphrey wouldn't let him.
Singled up to that side of the field. Another shot opportunity. That time Humphrey was in phase, step for step with Kevin Coleman. Far and away the most productive receiver for Mississippi State. First time that we've seen him targeted on a downfield shot.
Buren throws short, but threw it behind Booth. And it's a quick 3 and out, but there's a flag down in the backfield.
If he completes that ball, they had it. That screen was set up. That was at least a first down, maybe more. Watch the flag in the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 10, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Kirby Smart is furious with Damon Wilson.
As he should be. I mean, it's obvious. This isn't like one of those where you're already laying out. But the ball's gone. Don't hit him. the white hat is standing right there. The head referee is in charge of the quarterback. That's exactly who he's watching. That's an easy call and a stupid penalty.
A fresh set of downs as Mississippi State's offense was running to the bench. Georgia's front has not let Devon Booth do anything.
The rushing attack for Mississippi State has not gotten going. Anything else? The one thing that has got Mississippi State up is the shot downfield. It's the passing game, very surprisingly, where there have been yardage generated. The run game, Georgia has largely controlled the line of scrimmage.
So those 8 yards are on 11 attempts. Now it's Craver. Got past Dan Jackson, but run out of bounds after a minimal gain.
I mean, Dan Jackson is a missile. He showed up, flashed on the film last week versus Auburn. Watch 17 come screaming downhill. Pulls the trigger, great job by his defensive teammates and rally into the football. Another 3rd and long. Mississippi State has averaged almost 9 yards to go on this down.
Georgia bringing pressure. Van Buren throws in front of Craver as he was collapsing with the pocket.
Time Georgia brought pressure. 3rd downs, as we mentioned, in the obvious passing downs are a challenge. Have been all game long for Mississippi State. Obviously Craver frustrated on the sideline.
Fourth punt now for Nick Barmira. And Anthony Evans with a fair catch. He thought that he didn't have enough room to make it.
Looks like there was contact. Boy, if there wasn't, that was as near a miss as you can see. Anthony Evans going, hey, wait a second.
Pointing at Braylon Burnside as he ran by him. Carson Beck, what are your thoughts on him so far?
Well, you see the numbers, and obviously the air yards, was pushing it downfield last week, was not as successful on those downfield throws. And you think Mississippi State, coming into this game, quarterbacks were having inordinately good days versus this defense.
Beck keeps it, confuses a few people. Smith runs under it.
This used to be a staple under Mark Richt. And the hidden ball, you fake the handoff on the end around. And I don't know why the fans are booing, because I guess they think that Mississippi State's trying to slow them down, but Arian Smith is also shaken up after that catch. I think they did not notice that a Georgia Bulldog was also.
Yeah, you're looking at Smith, who is down near the 25-yard line. At the 22, there's a Mississippi State player that's also down.
Well, that now makes Carson Beck for this game 5 of 6 on throws of 20 yards or more in the air. We're not talking about run after the catch. See the downfield passing. He's enjoyed a lot more success, which is curious and somewhat because Mississippi State starts with a pick, able to get that carom. He finds a way to rally. Arian Smith over the middle. This touchdown throw is outstanding to Dylan Bell, only where he can make a play on it. Heck of a catch by Bell. Then obviously got to hit the ball on his hip, make that handoff, hit the ball on his hip just for a moment, and came up with it, reminiscent of Aaron Murray, Matthew Stafford. Maybe the best was David Green at hiding that football. Mike Bobo common denominator, either the QB coach or the play caller for all of those guys.
Brandon Jennings goes off the field. He was the Mississippi State Bulldog that was down. Smith also shaken up on the play after the 55-yard completion from Beck to Smith.
Couldn't tell what the injury was to really either player. If Smith looked like he was holding his arm.
Beck under center with Frazier behind him. More of a classic look. True freshman gets a couple. Ranson Robinson injured in the first half. Roderick Robinson still not ready to go yet. He's been out a few weeks. Etienne, Frazier, and Cash Jones, the available tailbacks now for UGA. And Nate again, a first down run. 4 on first down, 6+ on second.
Back-to-back plays, those big explosion shifts, changing the formation and the strength. Really well blocked that last run. Frazier able to get downhill, true freshman that they're very excited about. So has to round out his game, especially on passing downs. Part of the reason why he's seen more limited reps. He needs to understand the protection scheme better.
Etienne is back in, now in shotgun formation. Back to the quick game. Bell twisted the wrong direction and lost yardage. Rilo Lanier on the tackle.
Spun into the tackle, didn't he? Dylan Bell, that's a heck of a tackle by Lanier. Now look, he had it. Oh man, just keep going. Spun right back into Lanier. He's on the ground. Almost invited the tackle. Did Lanier a favor coming back to him.
And now on second and long after a loss of 3, Cash Jones back in the Georgia backfield. He took the snap there and then handed it to Beck, and then Beck threw it to Delp. And Oscar is near the goal line. Get all that?
It was a real subtle shift. You know, especially after all those big explosion shifts, to see Cash Jones and Beck, he just kind of slid over.
And that is the 2-minute timeout.
A little trickery. I saw the hit ball trick, and Carson Beck able to get out on the edge. And he's got Georgia knocking on the doorstep.
Welcome into the studio. Auto Owners Insurance halftime report coming up. Dari Doring-Watson will show you a one-sided Red River rivalry going on right now. Also, how Alabama survived. How about Georgia here as they...
Georgia offensive line letting Carson Beck find his guys.
Yeah, they didn't start fast, interception, but then 4 straight scoring drives.
Looks like they're about to punch another one in, guys. Let's kick it back to you all.
Yes, on the doorstep.
Yeah.
Inside the 1 on a 1st and goal from there. Etienne behind a big offensive lineman / fullback. Fake to Etienne to the end zone. Touchdown, Lucky. But there is a flag down. It is on Mississippi State.
Holding, defense, number 3. Penalty supply. Touchdown's good.
Did you ever get to do what Micah Morris just did at fullback?
Yeah, when I was 11 years old at Mountain Park Athletic Association. Big Micah Morris getting in there. And, yeah, you got to be thinking, here comes a downhill run. Buys everybody's eyes. Got Lawson Lucky wide open.
27-10 UGA.
You saw it. Look, see Big 56? One of these is not like the others. It's 330 pounds. That'll get the defense's attention. just enough to distract from the tight end and Lawson Lucky. He was attached at the end of the line of scrimmage. He is not run blocking. He is catching a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone.
When you're the next guy, they want to compare you to the last guy. And Lucky's got some Bowers-ish traits, but he is his own solid SEC performer. Carson Beck raved about him yesterday. Said he comes up to me after every play and says what he sees. And they've got great communication there between Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, Carson Beck, the quarterback, and Lawson Lucky, the tight end, to extend the lead.
You see that Lawson Lucky, a legacy. His dad and uncles played football here, triplets.
Yeah, in your era.
Yeah.
Mike,
Dustin, Miles.
You remember them all.
Yeah, buddy. Well, Miles started out as a D lineman, moved him over to center, was a great center. And Mike and Dustin, both linebackers. Now, of course, Lawson, he started out this season really well and is a guy that they feel like skill set wise gives them both run blocking ability and route running. See, Mississippi State can find a way to answer here.
Van Buren to Daniels, and Daniels for a few.
Mississippi State still has their full complement of timeouts, albeit still plenty of time on the clock here. They're able to buy one back with the injury timeout early on in the first quarter.
What a fall day in Athens. You were just driving down Sanford next to the stadium, just be blown away at how perfect it is. Van Buren gets rid of it and throws, and it's caught by Seydou Traore, tight end that transferred in last place he played was Colorado, before that Arkansas State. And Coach Levy will use one of those timeouts. After that Vandy-Kentucky game tonight, you can watch SEC football final with Peter Burns, Chris Doering, and Benjamin Watson. They'll take you through the biggest stories of the day and break down all the SEC games. That's tonight at 11 Eastern right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. I think actually it's Dari, not Peter. Peter is at the Ole Miss LSU game tonight in Tiger Stadium.
In a professional capacity or more of a spectator role?
I'll let him answer that for himself next time you speak to him.
I'll ask him.
What an atmosphere that'll be between two heated SEC rivals. We haven't gotten this game many times through the years because Georgia and Mississippi State played in separate divisions for so many years. But they play this year, and then they play in Starkville next year. 3rd and 1 for Mississippi State. Van Buren will keep it and get it. He gave himself up right past the 35.
He did not get it by much. I mean, it's definitely a first down, but not by much. And actually had a little bit more room. You can see Van Buren as he slid, turned around to look to make sure he got it.
That was Mississippi State's first 3rd down conversion of the game. And Michael, a good ball there to Coleman. Coleman dancing, gets in there, 1st down up to the 46. He's caught a pass in 23 straight.
We talked about him a little bit early, Kevin Coleman, coming into this game, 28 catches. Each of his stops, he's been in a bunch of places. He has been a prolific pass catcher.
Michael throws the deep ball, but a little miscommunication with Coleman there. Clock stops at 36 seconds. KJ Bolden, that all-world high school prospect, was on Coleman there.
At that time, Coleman broke off his route. Van Buren thought that he was going to keep pressing downfield vertically. Georgia trying to bring pressure that time. 5 rushes. We've seen a lot of 3-man, 4-man rushes in this game. That time trying to affect the passer, speed up his clock as he gets to the bottom of his drop. Glenn Schumann, they have blitzed meaning they brought more than 5 rushers, 5 or more than they ever have. Most in the conference, nearly 40%.
On a low snap, Van Buren's ball is deflected at the line of scrimmage. Michael Williams back on the field in Athens, limited due to that ankle issue about a month ago, but we've seen him out there effective today.
They had 3 guys blocking Michael Williams. He wisely got his hand up to get the pass deflection. Here's Michael Williams right here. He's been in obvious passing down situations exclusively so far this afternoon.
Coach Levy wants some more time to talk about this.
You want to make sure that you've got a good protection plan. They talked about this coming into this game, that when you get to the third downs, the obvious downs, that's when Georgia is much more exotic in their pressure packages. I mentioned, the blitz propensity. Going back all the way to 2011, the Georgia defense has never pressured as much as they have. 37% of the dropbacks that they have faced, they have brought more than 5 rushers. They're not scared to heat some of these quarterbacks up.
Coming up at halftime, Stinch, you can watch the live performance of the Red Coat Marching Band on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. Our longtime great spotter, Russ Moore, could have been in that band. He stayed in his home state.
Hometown even. Athens kid, for crying out loud.
On 3rd and 10, Van Buren throws into traffic. K.J. Bolden. That is his first collegiate interception.
Van Buren was under pressure. They had Michael Williams moved inside. You put your best pass rushers over the guard. K.J. Bolden, playing as a true freshman, here he is. Deep center field. Watch the range of number 4. Reads the eyes of Van Buren, knows where he wants to go with it. Almost like the ball was intended for him. Able to get the ball back for his offense with 27 seconds to play in the half.
And a guy that's taken some of his reps so far this year, Stitch, Dan Jackson was the first one to him. Dan told us yesterday we have to celebrate with each other more. He certainly did it there. Back to work, 1st and 10. And it's Evans getting free past the 35-yard line. Georgia still has 2 timeouts. They do get the ball first in the second half. It's a pickup of 18.
Stop the clock, move the chains. See, Georgia's going to kind of muddle huddle. They're right there near the football.
Two timeouts. Need about 20, 25 yards to give Woodring a realistic chance. Beck has time. Throws short. Etienne on the catch. 14, 13 seconds left before Kirby Smart uses one of those timeouts.
Like he might have had a shot at Anthony Davis. Able to take the high percentage throw that time. You talked about it earlier, Taylor, that Georgia's been incredibly effective, very efficient in that place kicking game. Able to, with timeouts, 1 timeout left in your pocket, see if you can't get it into field goal range. If not, try to put it in the end zone. Woodring, certainly a weapon in place kicker.
Including extra points, he's 29 of 29 on the year. 20 for 20 extra points, 9 for 9 field goals. Sophomore from Lafayette, Louisiana. And I would encourage some of the freshmen that are here in Athens to take kicking 101 if it were offered in Athens. Maybe Professor Butler would be the, or Professor Blankenship would teach it.
Billy Bennett, there have been a lot of them to come through, that's for sure.
On 2nd and 5, Beck steps up, throws short. Cash Jones out of bounds up near the 48 with 11 seconds left. Nick Mitchell pushed him out. Still have that one timeout left, so use the entire field here.
You see, they did a good job there. They're only brushing those three. Last week, 3 down rushers were able to get home and actually affect the pass. It should never happen.
Carson Beck is over 300 yards passing once more here. Give his field goal kicker a chance. Jones gets down near the 37 with 4 seconds to go in the half, and Peyton Woodring wants to try it. He's on the field, just waiting for Coach Smart to tell him it's your time.
Kirby was right there on top of the sticks, called that timeout. As you said, Woodring's sitting there going, hey, just put me in there, Coach.
Well, he made a 55-yarder against Clemson to start the season. Boy, Carson Beck is feeling it. 12 straight completions, 317 yards passing. And to think the game started with an interception.
Deflection, that's got to be frustrating, obviously, as a quarterback. A lot of times it certainly doesn't show up in the stat sheet, a pick that's not necessarily on you.
And Beck, of course, is the holder. And so he is still out there. And it's Woodring that is going to attempt this 55-yard field goal try. Bo Gardner to snap it, Beck to hold it. And Woodring hooked it. First miss of the season, but in plenty of leg. Georgia carrying a 27-10 lead into the locker room. And they will get the ball to start the third quarter.
As you mentioned,
the 3 and outs stacked up a little bit too much against this defense when it comes to his young freshman quarterback. He said Michael Van Buren is settling in. He was playing better towards the end of that first half. We'll see what they look like offensively when they come out after this Georgia series.
He's just not looking to skip any steps with this program. Knows that you got to build it brick by brick. Beck and the Georgia Bulldogs are a complete program, winning 2 of the last 3 national championships. Beck would like to be the starting quarterback for one of those. Quick throw to Dominic Lovick, more of the same of what we saw in the first half, those line of scrimmage passes.
Coming into this game, we saw a lot of that, a lot of throws at or around the line of scrimmage, high percentage throws, and opportunities to pick up easy yardage on the perimeter.
Sends Arian Smith off the line of scrimmage. Good to see him back in the game. Pumps to Smith, throws to Yarosik down the sideline, and a first down.
So now you play off of it. We talk about the horizontal passing game. You motion Arian Smith out there. He bluffs a screen, and you end up getting Yarosik on a screen and go. He acts as if he's going to block and releases downfield.
Stanford transfer picked up 29 there. 6 passes of 20 plus, make it 7. Arian Smith isn't tackled and scores. Lanier had arms on him, didn't wrap him up, and Smith gets a 42-yard touchdown.
Taylor, I don't know what Lanier was doing at the end of that play. There's a likelihood Smith ends up in the end zone anyway with his momentum, but he's running open, but Lanier is in position to make that play, and just, I don't know if he thought he dropped the football. Odd ending to what was otherwise yet another explosive downfield passing play for the Georgia offense.
Those are 30 completed passes by Carson Beck today. That's a career high. And he's thrown 15 straight completions.
Coach Smart talked about being in rhythm. Look at this ball. Smith does a good job. I don't know what Lanier's doing right there. He clearly caught the football. Watch number 3. After Smith, who clearly caught this ball, I don't know if he thought he was already in the end zone. I think maybe there's a chance Lanier thought that. Oh, that is as odd of an ending of to a play as I've seen in a long time. And of course, Arian Smith, who was banged up, able to get a touchdown early.
A lot has been made of fast starts for Georgia, guys, whether it's the beginning of the game or the beginning of a half. Assistant coach is very excited, saying fast start, fast start, fast start. Really excited about that over here.
Yeah, they scored on their first drive against Auburn last week. Threw an interception to start the game this week, but just a minute and 12 seconds to start the scoring here in the second half.
You can see the difference, what a difference a half makes. So you see outscoring opposition by 80 points in the second half is Georgia. See Mike Bobo, they came out obviously wanting to be aggressive offensively and just threw haymakers, outfield shots. They started to open things up a little bit more in the latter part of the second quarter as well, and just picked up where they left off in the first half.
Van Buren, short throw, completed ball to Mosley. Mosley, the junior from Vince Dooley's High School in Mobile, Alabama, McGill Tulin. On 2nd and 7, Booth, not much. It's been that story all day for Booth. He just has 5 attempts and 8 yards rushing, and as a team, Mississippi State has 14.
See Georgia substituted quickly to get their pass rushers on the field. Damon Wilson out there, Michael Williams out there, Jalen Walker on the line of scrimmage.
On 3rd and 7, incomplete. Was looking for Seydou Traore, but a flag came in there late.
Looks like it's probably going to be defensive pass interference. Chris Cole.
Pass interference, defense, number 18. The ball be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
That's a good call. I mean, he's got his left arm obviously engaged and restricting Traore's left arm.
Teaching moment for the true freshman from Salem, Virginia. Watching practice the other day, he was everywhere. Kirby Smart's defense, which stays on the field now on a fresh set of downs for Van Buren. Over the top, complete. And Coleman, after the run, gets into Georgia territory, where he was tackled by Dalen Everett.
Again, with the eye discipline, able to just slip right behind the Georgia defense, completed in front of Everett. Just kind of as a condensed formation. He lost track of Kevin Coleman.
a pickup of 19 yards. Coleman, 32 catches for Jacksonville State 2 years ago, 26 for Louisville last year, and already more than 30 for Mississippi State this year. Right back goes Booth, and he gets a couple of yards. They were able to push Nazir Stackhouse back a few yards that time. That's maybe the first time I've seen 78 go backwards today. We're so trained to tell you who made the play at the end of the play. Number 78, the middle at Georgia, the front on defense, has been winning at attack time and time again. It's why the Bulldogs have struggled to run it. On 2nd and 7, a line of scrimmage throw to Coleman into the Georgia bench. 3rd and somewhat manageable for Jeff Lebby's offense.
And that's the challenge. It's all game long, where it's the 1st and 2nd down efficiency offensively for Mississippi State to get it to 3rd manageable. And as you mentioned, this is one of these shorter distances to go that the Bulldogs offense has faced this afternoon.
And about as loud a moment as Van Buren's had, the play clock's running out.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And that was what Kirby Smart was talking about with the crowd impacting the young true freshman there.
Yeah, give that to the Sanford Stadium crowd. And it's been engaged all afternoon. They have answered the call and made it really difficult for the Bulldogs offense to operate.
Van Buren is hit. Chaz Chambliss unblocked. A flag comes in at the end.
Yeah, he got all of it. This is a face mask penalty. And then some. Chambliss knew it. It's 30 yards in penalties on this drive.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 32, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down. Number 0 of the offense may remain in the game.
I mean, pop the helmet off, the whole 9 yards. That's definitely getting your money's worth on a face mask penalty. So you think about the defensive, you get the PI, and linebacker with Cole, now Chambliss.
Chaz is going to be allowed to do that as an MMA fighter, which is in his future, evidently. Daniels sideways, hadn't seen him sweep much today, and he gets a yard. Dan Jackson.
I mean, the Sanford Stadium crowd has been conditioned on these perimeter runs. Watch 17 come flying into your frame here. Boom.
Team leading tackler, 6-year walk-on, and the heartbeat of Georgia's defense in 2024. On 2nd and 8, Van Buren wants to throw it out the back, does. 1st down throw, he finds his big tight end, Traore, again.
Time the protection rather was able to hold up. Traore able to pop open over the middle. Mississippi State capitalizing on the Bulldog defensive penalties.
Traore caught 50 balls for Arkansas State 2 years ago, and Coach Butch Jones inside the 20, Daniels getting free, touchdown. Georgia could have been off the field twice on third downs, 2 personal fouls, kept the drive going, and Johnny Daniels makes them pay on a 19-yard touchdown.
Mississippi State. You come out, you get punched right away. Big shots, give up points, and you're able to capitalize. Great job getting to the edge. Jalen Walker gets hung up inside. Malachi Starks with another missed tackle. And Daniels able to get in the end zone.
Jeff Lebby's Mississippi State Bulldogs have the hardest 2-game challenge any team has faced in college football, and they're never going to stop fighting.
Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
In the past, you were just instructed by the coordinator and the head coach. Now, look at the iPad. Look at the mistake we made here, and this is how we correct it. Welcome to 2024.
Yeah, before you had at least a little bit of time, right? You could say, all right, here's what happened. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they watch the film. That's not what happened. Well, now it's real time. Here, come here, let me show you.
Carson Beck's historic day will continue at the 25-yard line. Beck has had a terrific day throwing, 392 yards passing, and 30 of 37 are his numbers in completions and attempts, which means he just, for the moment at least, passed Jaden Daniels, second all-time in completion percentage in SEC history. Number 1 is Mac Jones from Alabama, 74.3, but Beck is number 2 at the moment. Flips it around. This is Evans. Evans, the kick returner, turned wide receiver, pushed out of bounds. Touchdown saving tackle by Hunter Washington.
I mean, Evans is fast. I'm wondering, how fast is Drew Bobo? Look at 74. Escorted down the field. Look at the big man. He's faster than his dad. I promise you that.
That was Mary Beth and Kirby Smart's ring bearer running down the field. Evans again. And now that is another completion for Beck. That's 16 in a row. And there's big Drew Bobo, Mike's son. Dad does not like to give him much input during the game unless he does something wrong, Mike said.
Well,
and then he has something to say.
It's true of any offensive lineman. It's like you're non-existent until you screw up. Then everybody notices. Says he just tries to be dad. He should be pleased with that effort. Trying to get downfield and pick up another block.
Frazier, first down Georgia inside the 12.
You see those explosive plays. Not a lot of explosive run plays. They're coming into this game really quiet. Only 5 rushes of 20 yards or more coming into this contest. Able to find ways to get that ball out on the perimeter and pop a few runs downfield.
Cash Jones in the game, back to work, surveys and throws a pick. Diego Brumfield, he threw it right to him.
That's a bad decision by Carson Beck. Wanted to get it to Lawson Lucky. Brumfield is in front of Lucky, threw it right to him.
Ends a streak of 16 straight completions for Beck.
Mississippi State defensively finding a way to get those takeaways. Stop what was otherwise a promising drive.
Senior transfer from Memphis gives the ball back to Mississippi State. might be thinking about Georgia and Texas playing next Saturday night in prime time in Austin, keep thinking about Georgia playing Mississippi State right now today in Athens. Mississippi State drives down the field, scores a touchdown, and then Diego Brumfield picks off Carson Beck in the end zone. And Van Buren and the Dogs have it back. Throw across the middle and a good one to Akari that caught the touchdown pass earlier. That's 14 more.
Yeah, right now, Georgia mistakes, miscues, keeping the Mississippi State Bulldogs in it. You think about a couple of defensive penalties that previous drive to keep it alive. And then, of course, the turnover in the end zone.
Van Buren, deep ball, throws it in there, and Coleman caught it. Perfect ball over the shoulder of Kevin Coleman.
What a throw. I mean, look at this ball. Drops it right in there, working against Aguero. Take another look at that one. Oh, his left foot may have caught the boundary. Looks like they may be.
Stands, it's
Ruling on the field was a completed catch. That play is under video review.
It stands as a 42-yard catch, but you're right, the toe portion of that foot looked like it might have touched the white. Our friends Jim Laborde and Randy Watkins will get to watch this.
So, yes, his right foot was in bounds, but he hadn't gained possession of the football just yet. Boom, left foot. Didn't look like he had possession with the right foot down, and that left foot may have caught the boundary.
The crazy thing is if you just put your toe down, you're inbounds. But if you put the heel down and then the toe, you're out of bounds.
Yes, that's what they'll say. Or even if it's toe to heel, that's a continuation. Yes, his right foot in contact with the field when he possesses this football.
Close.
Man, that is close.
To your point, are the pellets coming up on the field? Hard to tell.
That is tough. Yeah, but it is bang bang. As he begins to possess that football, it's his right foot down. The left foot looks clearly out of bounds, but is that right foot in contact with the field when he makes this catch?
Let's see what Mr. Olson says.
After video review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
Another big play given up. You think about the passing game, obviously it was ruled a completion on the field incidentally, and you're going, I don't know that I did not see enough to say that right foot was not in contact with the field when he made the catch. Another explosive passing play from Mississippi State. A beautiful ball from Van Buren.
And now a true freshman's thrown for over 200 yards against this stout Georgia D. And he hands to Booth. Booth is stopped by big Xavier McLeod.
Throughout the day, the defense has certainly been stout in the run game. In the passing game, the big plays have victimized this Georgia secondary, and in one-on-one coverage repeatedly.
Second and 10. Booth gets free. First and goal, State. Stark saved the touchdown.
Heck of a run by Booth. Well blocked up front. Georgia got covered up that time. And now Mississippi State knocking on the door. Building on that momentum off the big play downfield in the passing game.
Booth inside the 3. Allen on the tackle.
C.J. Allen's got tremendous range. Booth able to get that corner turn, just couldn't get downhill quickly enough.
Booth moves the pile near the 2, maybe a little bit closer than that. McLeod in there again saying, yes, sir, that was me, 3rd and goal.
How do you try an inside run again? You haven't popped many runs. Last time they got to the edge, they were able to run to the right side of the offensive front and get it in the end zone.
They'll throw it. In space, Coleman tackled open field by the freshman, K.J. Bolden.
Decided not to try the interior again. Trying to get the ball out of space, make a guy, make the defense make a tackle. K.J. Bolden, the true freshman, able to come up and deny the score.
What does Jeff Levy call on a 4th and goal with a couple of yards to go?
I like that previous play call. There just has not been a lot of running room, even when you could formation the defense to be wider. A lot of bodies tackle to tackle.
Van Buren just gets it off. The 4th down throw is a good one and a touchdown to Devon Booth. That was a heck of a catch from the Utah State transfer on a ball that was thrown behind him, maintaining his balance.
Just no one accounting for Booth out of the backfield. It looked as if Raylan Wilson in his linebacking spot would have had the coverage assignment. And yet again, a wide open receiver in the end zone.
Georgia came out blasting out of the locker room to make it 34-10. And Mississippi State answers with back-to-back 75-yard touchdown drives and an interception in the end zone in between. Hail State is not going away.
Dory Noka in studio. We update the Red River rivalry. It started 3-0 Oklahoma, but since then it has been all Texas. Quinn Ewers touchdown run. He's also thrown for a touchdown. 34-3. Hook 'em in Dallas, guys.
Texas will host College Game Day next week against the Georgia Bulldogs in Austin on a Saturday night. But there isn't anything Kirby Smart could care less about than that, given what's happening right now. And again, that's next Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, between these two teams, Georgia and Texas. 5 meetings, 4 Texas wins. Texas won in the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day 5 years ago. Georgia won in the Cotton Bowl in 1983. It's the first trip for Georgia to Austin since 1958. They have never played in Athens. They will do that next year. But what's happening in Athens right now is of serious concern after Mississippi State scored 2 consecutive touchdowns. ETN gets a couple.
I mean, you're talking about a 14-point swing, right? You're throwing in the end zone, don't get the score, and then you give up a big play going the opposite direction. And Mississippi State able to punch it in what could be a 41-17 game. Instead, you end up looking at one where you're talking about 2 possessions for Mississippi State on the road.
Beck has had a clean pocket most of the day, and he throws another good ball, this one to Lovett. And Dom gets past the 45, a 19-yard completion.
That has not been a difficulty for the Georgia offense this afternoon. The downfield passing has come alive.
Beck love it right out of his arms. But wide open again. Georgia has 418 passing yards in this game by that man, Carson Beck.
It's been a busy afternoon for him, that's for sure, in the passing game. The guy spent already 41 pass attempts with a quarter to play. Only 2 rushing attempts in the second half.
There's a third. Etienne tackled in the backfield. Travion Williams.
That's a great job by Williams, just defeating the block of Dylan Fairchild. Etienne's trying to stretch that ball, bounce it out. Big third down now, 10+ yards to go for the Georgia offense.
Carson has time, throws into traffic, incomplete. That was a dangerous ball. Arian Smith almost grabbed it. Hunter Washington and others were right there.
Arian Smith had to come back for that football. Carson Beck had to fit it into that window. Now Hunter Washington, if he puts it in front of Arian Smith, it's a pick.
Well, Brett Thorson joked last year that he sort of played for Georgia. This is his first punt today. He's hilarious on social media. They've used him a ton this year. 6 punts against Kentucky. And a fair catch at the 19-yard line. 24 games in a row without a positive yard on a Thorson punt. Down to Alyssa.
Guys, I'm standing over here on the Mississippi State sideline. I've been watching the quarterbacks, and Blake Shapen is down here for the first time since having that surgery. Of course, that season-ending shoulder injury that sidelined him for the remainder of the year as Mississippi State's starting quarterback. He has been poring over the iPad with Michael Van Buren. He's been on his side every single time that Michael comes out. I talked to Michael this week. He said, Blake has helped me so much, how to stay calm, how to watch film, how to interact with teammates, certain things to look at on the iPad when I come over to the sidelines. He's helped teach me how to be a college quarterback. It's really cool to watch that relationship at work.
It's really working, Alyssa, as you saw in the graphic there. 8 for his last 8. Keeps the football here. Doesn't get much. Ran right into Malachi Starks.
You said it though, Taylor, you're right. 8 for 8, dialed in now. As Alyssa reported, a lot of coaching that Van Buren gets between these series. You see him certainly. Blake Shapen on the sideline. Arm in the sling. Getting him back now. Van Buren having to grow up real time.
They're going to let the clock run out to the fourth quarter. If Mississippi State can score on this drive, it's a 1-possession game.
Yeah, it's turning into a real hootenanny. This thing you thought was going to go the other direction. All of a sudden, you got ourselves a ball game.
Mississippi State won that quarter, and they're down 10. It is a picturesque day that's turning in to nighttime in Athens, and the game is still on the line as Mississippi State has the football after winning the third quarter with 2 consecutive touchdowns. 34-24 in Sanford Stadium. Michael Van Buren was terrific in that quarter, completing 8 in a row. It's a 2nd and 8 to start the fourth. Throwing. Completing, nice catch past the 35 by Traore. 14 more.
And nice protection. Good wide pocket. Great job by the Mississippi State offensive front. Giving Van Buren plenty of room to operate.
See why Traore was best tight end in the Sun Belt 2 years ago for Arkansas State. Across the middle on a slant and is dropped. Malachi Starks got his hand in there as the true freshman Craver couldn't corral it.
Trying to jam it in there to Craver. Kind of felt like a big play, honestly. There's a lot of momentum from Mississippi State right now. Van Buren clearly has settled down here in the second half in the passing attack.
Van Buren, the pocket collapse, flags are everywhere. Threw it into the Georgia bench.
It's going to be a hold on the left tackle versus Ingram Dawkins, who just bull rushed him back.
There is no foul for holding. Result of play is third down.
I don't know what that means. I don't know how it isn't holding. So it's right here. I don't know that I've ever. I don't know how that isn't holding. I've never seen a holding penalty flag picked up. Regardless, might have declined it anyway to force a third down.
Just 5 seconds left on the play clock. Got it off. Throws. And it's complete. Coleman got it. Starks made the tackle. It's 4th and 2 for Jeff Levy on his own side of the field, and his offense is staying out there.
And a wholesale substitution for Georgia now, sending the big bodies back in there. Had the pass rushers in on the previous down. The ball came out quickly.
Look at the communication there between Levy and his true freshman quarterback, Van Buren. Clearly talking into his helmet on this 4th and 2.
Last time they were able to get the back out of the backfield.
Fake the run, throw it, Traore, easy first down into Georgia territory. He's been the go-to guy in the second half.
How about this? Get Traore, easy completion. Really well-designed play to get him out and open, just off the edge. High percentage throw.
Justin Ball, the old Vandy tight end, with a block there to spring Traore free. Both of those guys now at Mississippi State.
False start. Offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, you said it, Matt, before the game started. McKylan Pounders, the left tackle, was ill last night, and the true freshman Luke Work has played every snap.
And again, the crowd isn't fired up and engaged, and when they stem, when they move that defensive front, it's easy for that to trigger you as an offensive lineman on the road. It's gotten Mississippi State a couple of times.
And to the ground, it's Daniels. And Daniels gets past the 45.
A nice run, though, that time by Daniels, just to get them back inside of the original sticks. Less than 10 yards on this second down now.
USC and Penn State are in overtime. Georgia has given up 2 touchdowns to Mississippi State in the second half, and the Bulldogs have the ball on Georgia's side of the field. Still sticking with Daniels, and Daniels, with flags coming in, gets past the 35.
To the Georgia 35, with first down yards, with second flag.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
So that's on left guard. Jacoby Jackson right here. Georgia stemmed the front late again. They're going to say he held, second level. Looked like he was holding Raylan Wilson. Didn't have to. He had him covered up. Didn't need to do it.
Jeff Lebby is clearly laying a foundation for Mississippi State's identity for years to come. 2nd and 16. Van Buren's ball is deflected at the line of scrimmage. Xavier McLeod got his hand up there.
And that time able to get good push inside by McLeod. He's really kind of almost standing on the toes of the quarterback. If you can't get there, get your arms up. He's kind of swallowed that ball.
Bulldogs are 1 of 9, as you see there on the screen, on 3rd down today, and this is 3rd and almost Atlanta.
Jalen Walker right here at the bottom of your screen.
Just tried to shovel it ahead, and right at the feet of Dan Jackson. Damon Wilson applied the pressure, and Dan Jackson had no idea that Van Buren was about to do that, that he wanted the pick.
Ingram Dawkins, another nice rush inside. Wilson almost got there. You're right. Dan Jackson thought, oh man, I wish he got more on that ball. He thought he was going to be able to shoot up there and make a play.
So the Georgia defense stiffens near midfield, and Barmira comes back out. It's a short punt. And it'll be downed at the 19-yard line. Georgia back on offense with under 11 minutes to go, up 10. Let's check out the good hands play brought to you by Allstate. The do-it-all skill player Dylan Bell with the catch in the back of the end zone on a ball that Carson Beck made sure he was the only person that would have a chance at it.
What a great adjustment by Dylan Bell. Back to that football, then the awareness to get his foot down. Running out of real estate. Georgia offensively, they're looking to sustain a drive. Put points back up on the board, get a little more breathing room. Only a 2-possession game here in the 4th quarter.
Toss to Frazier. And immediately another tackle for loss by Hunter Washington. That's 5 for State today.
That's a whiff by Jurasik. He's coming out there to block the edge defender, the force defender. He just whiffs, keeps moving. That who ends up making the play, negative yardage play to start the series.
Loss of 2 by Frazier. Etienne comes back in the game. That's Smith leaving the line. Beck gets out of there, will run, doesn't do much of that, and gets up to the 25 to make it 3rd and manageable.
Protection broke down inside out. Beck had to come off his spot almost right away. Wisely was able to just pick up some positive yards to get it to a 3rd and manageable.
To get past the 29 to move the chains. Underneath ball and a good grab made by Lucky for a 1st down.
Good hands catch by Lawson Lucky. Ball was outside of him a little bit. Lucky able to look it all the way in. Felt like a bigger 3rd down conversion than you maybe would have thought.
Going quickly, Humphreys at the line of scrimmage gets up past the 34-yard line. As you said, these feel more like run plays, but they count as pass plays, and it's the 34th completion for Carson Beck today.
Pretty good job by Humphreys getting upfield quickly. Was not cleanly blocked on the edge right away.
5-yard gain to the 35, 2nd and 5.
On 2nd and 5. Beck, that's dropped. As Humphreys tried to bring it to his body, it'll be 3rd and 5. And if you were watching some overtime thrillers in the Big Ten, we welcome you to Athens. As Humphreys was thinking about the yardage after the catch there. It's been tight. Georgia did have a 34-10 lead to start the 3rd quarter after an early second half touchdown, but the Mississippi State Bulldogs answered with 2 touchdowns of their own, and they forced a 3rd and 5 here. And on that slant, another good ball by Carson Beck to Dylan Bell. 1st down, Georgia.
Just drove that ball in there. Well placed. Dylan Bell. 5-step slant. Boom. Got Dominic Lovett underneath. Good conversion that time on a 3rd down.
It has been the passing game today, Matt, for Georgia. Carson Beck with 438 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He has thrown 2 interceptions. Haven't seen the ground game really get established. That's one of ETN's better runs today.
It's been a quiet second half, to say the least, on the ground. Well, the first half, ETN not only got some looks as a rusher, 7 carries, now 8. In the first half, 6 catches out of the backfield. They used him actually lined up out on the perimeter numerous times.
They only have run it 5 times in the whole half. This is a 2nd and 1. And it's Frazier moving the chains into Bulldogs territory down to the 40.
It's a good physical run by Nate Frazier. Probably another 3 or 4 yards after the initial contact. Got into the line of scrimmage cleanly. He was able to maintain that momentum, get behind his pads. As explosive as he is, you know, he's a bigger guy. You can see him, he can accelerate quickly, but he's every bit of 210 pounds.
Penn State pulling off the victory at USC in overtime, trailed most of the game, and James Franklin team comes out with a big win in the Coliseum. Here, Frazier gets down to the 35-yard line. The 2 things to think about in this game at Sanford Stadium, one is the identity that Mississippi State is building with first-year coach Jeff Lebby. Their record is 1-4. Chances are they're only going to win a couple, maybe 3-4 games this season, but he is establishing something, a culture that his kids clearly believe in. That's one thing, and the way that they're competing in consecutive games against Texas and Georgia. The other is Georgia. Is there a different level this team needs to get to achieve their postseason dreams? On 2nd and 5, ETN dances, and it works, and it's a 1st down near the 25.
A hard-earned run by ETN. We'll call it 3 broken tackles. Stone Blanton runs through that one. Another trigger, able to step through that one. And he ran out of real estate, getting all the way out to the outside. And we talk about, you know, that Mississippi State drive previously took up some time in a 2-possession ball game, and now Georgia, with this established possession, they're eating out. This is their 11th play of the drive, just eating it up, over 6 minutes of clock.
ETN tackled by Stone Blanton. Back playing for Mississippi State. He's a die-hard Bulldogs fan growing up. His dad went there. Mom went to Ole Miss, and then he goes to play for Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks last year. And Blanton trying to turn this Mississippi State program around. He has a game-high 8 tackles today.
He's been very busy. They've asked a lot of him as well, controlling the middle of that defense.
Beck on 2nd down, wide open ball. Inside the 10, it'll be 1st and goal as Bell gets extra yardage down to the 4.
look at the cushion. You know, Beck looks out there and he's going, let's see, I got a 7-yard cushion. DB's in his back pedal right now. Kelly Jones even got turned around in that coverage.
You know, Carson Beck threw for a career-high 439 against Alabama. Well, that's over with. He's thrown for 459 today, and also a career-best 36 completions.
Well, they definitely leaned heavily on their quarterback play. Multiple times making changes even at the line of scrimmage.
That's Frazier. Took a couple of hits and stayed up and got down to the one where Blanton grabbed his legs.
Jeff Levy is standing on the 10-yard line.
Mark him down actually at the 2. Mississippi State's going to call timeout here. And we'll take it with them. Georgia up 10 and knocking on the door.
Okay.
Carson Beck, a career high in yardage and completions today, has led Georgia to this 10-point advantage. But Mississippi State has been fighting tooth and nail, leaving everything out there on the field. A ton of young players have hung around. Head coach Jeff Levy is coaching his team up through this 2-game difficult stretch at number 1 Texas, at number 5 Georgia. No team in college football has gone on the road 2 straight weeks and done that. He said, it will never get harder than this. And his team certainly hasn't flinched, but they're up against a 2nd and goal for Georgia as they're inside the Mississippi State 2. That's Frazier, and hit immediately, falling ahead to the 1. 3rd and goal. Another timeout called by Jeff Levy, Matt.
Yeah, it was a hang on to some of that clock, right? Big DeMonte Russell beat Oscar Delp underneath right now. You see that Mississippi State defense is fired up.
You know, Alyssa was saying something during the last break about Tate Ratledge, who we've not seen play since injured in the Kentucky game early in the season. And Tate Ratledge is out there trying to coach up the guys. Hey, here we are up in the booth. That's Russ, our spotter. That's Matt over there. I'm Taylor. And I'll tell you what, Mr. Stinchcomb, we've got a 4-quarter fight there today.
Yeah, and you know, you think about it, all turned on that interception in the end zone by Carson Beck, right? It could have been 7 points going in, and you're talking about a 41-point game, and instead, Mississippi State takes it, gets an explosive play on their own off of that interception, and that's on the heels of a drive that was extended by a couple of defensive penalties. Mississippi State decided, hey, you know what? I think we're going to hang around in this football game, and now with a 3rd and 1, and Jeff Levy said, hey, I'm going to preserve as much clock as I can.
What do you like on the 15th play of the drive for Georgia here?
Well, we've seen them inside zone play, especially on this kind of low red zone near goal line, where they've executed that play very well.
Etienne's back there now. Beck rolls, throws, incomplete. He was looking for Delp. He's facing pressure. It's 4th down.
He went play action, trying to get that ball in there to Oscar Delp, and Stone Blanton undercut, got in front of that football. That's a couple of throws now that we've seen in the end zone where the defender's able to get in front of the receiver, and Georgia says they're going.
And they're the best in the country at doing it. 9 for 10 this year, 1 for 1 today.
We got big Micah Morris in the backfield at fullback.
Give it to Etienne to follow Morris. He can't get in there. Oh, yes, he can. Extra effort. Mississippi State had him stopped in the backfield, but his big friends helped him through. Let's check on this flag. Long discussion here. There's an injury down on the field as well.
There are 2 fouls after the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 73. Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 21. Those fouls offset. Result of play is a touchdown.
Xavier Truss and Hunter Washington. That was 16-play, 81-yard drive, Matt. And there is Truss and Washington.
Yeah, what did Washington do? Didn't look like Washington did much.
Mississippi State had Georgia in the backfield there, Matt, and Etienne and friends had some extra effort to get in the end zone.
Great job by Etienne. Once again, a loose hat, not well blocked. Ernest Green was beat underneath, that time from the left side. Previous run was Oscar Delp from the right side. Great job by Mississippi State. They got the penetration, but Etienne, with his effort, able to find his way into the end zone.
We saw Kedrick Bingley Jones go off for Mississippi State, injured on the play. And it's now 41-24.
Etienne, what Kirby Smart says, the tough yards. Boy, he got him and muscled his way into the end zone. Statement drive by the Georgia Bulldogs.
SEC Network Football is presented by the Sonic $1.99 menu. Live free, eat Sonic.
Sun has gone to bed in Athens as it finally feels like fall here in the middle of October. What a spot to be to watch some Southeastern Conference football. You don't get to see Georgia play Mississippi State that often. This year in Athens, next year in Starkville. And when Georgia goes to Starkville to play Jeff Lebby's team next year, watch out.
Yeah, you're not
because
kidding.
he is building something.
It's true. I mean, you're sitting there and you know what Georgia had to muster the gumption to go up for it on 4th down just to get it in there. Jeff Lebby had that defense primed up, started taking timeouts, working for that stop. 17 points, right? 3 possession games still.
And Alyssa, you've seen Mississippi State play 2 of the top 5 teams in the country in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in and say I've seen their last 2 games up close. They gave Texas, who's the #1 team in the country now, and at the time, a full 4 quarters. And after the play, I'll add on this.
Incomplete, Van Buren.
One of the things, though, that stands out to me the most, despite what the scoreboard looks like at this point, is the energy that is constantly on the sidelines for this Mississippi State team coming out of the locker room at halftime. These guys are so juiced up. You can tell they love each other. They love this staff. And they're really taking building this program up from the bottom very seriously.
Good ball across the middle by Van Buren to Coleman. How about the experience that Michael Van Buren is getting on the road in Austin and on the road in Athens? That's 18 more.
Just the way that he's executing within this offense. He came into the game and thought, all right, so they're going to do their best to keep it on the ground, throw it when you had to, and they did on all those 3rd and longs. Second quarter, they opened it up.
Haven't seen him take off much today, but does there and shows the wheels. Got a late little hit there from Dan Jackson. Kirby Smart had his visor come off there.
No, he didn't know. He's sitting there. He thinks it's one of his own. I don't think he knew that was Van Buren.
Van Buren not on the same page there, incomplete. 2:34 to go in the game. Michael will finally get some home starts. He did play against Florida after Chapin went down. And watch out, Texas A&M, who isn't playing this week. They're going to be in the top 12 or 13 in the country going to Stark Vegas next week at 4:15 Eastern time to take on a confident Michael Van Buren.
That's a good way to put it. No question. You take a great deal of confidence, at the very least, out of this performance.
Sideline ball. And Coleman, nice tackle made there by C.J. Allen. Jonell Aguero came out. Jonell Aguero with the first man to him. It is 4th down here.
And they'll take another timeout as Mississippi State wants to make sure they take advantage of this one on a 4th.
And in just a few minutes, can Vandy do it again? Can they go to Lexington? And can Diego Pavia pull off another miracle? He's carrying goalpost into the river, and he's starting his own podcast. He's been on every television show known to man this week. It's SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile. Commodores at Kentucky.
You got to.
Last week, forcing all those Bama missed tackles. It just 5 forced missed tackles, but Alyssa did tackle him. That was not a missed tackle at the end of the game to get that interview.
You seen Alyssa? I mean, she's shredded. There was no doubt she was going to get that guy.
Dodging defenders.
I had my protein shake this morning.
4th and 1. State's 2 for 2 today. They're 3 for 3. Traore out the back door.
Another well-designed play. Traore with that short return motion. It doesn't even come all the way across. Looks like he is, and slammed on the brakes.
It's 11 more. Glenn Schumann, the defensive coordinator, Stinch, said, this guy's a combination of Josh Heupel and Lane Kiffin. It's up-tempo, always trying to keep you on your heels.
Okay, so
reset it to 2:08.
A 3-second discrepancy, never cranked up on that completion.
Mississippi State is out of timeouts, but they do have the 2-minute timeout. Van Buren will give himself up, and we are inside that 2-minute timeout. Georgia's going to improve to 5-1 on the season, but they have had to fight for it against Hail State today. Kirby Smart is looking for his 28th straight win at home, which dates back to 2019. 56 straight weeks in the top 10. He's had to coach him up for 60 minutes today. We're 58 minutes in. Van Buren wants to throw it to the end zone. It's out of bounds. Caught by Ellis Robinson, the 4th. Freshman from New Haven, Connecticut.
Heck of a catch, but not in bounds. Kind of hung that one up a little bit. 3rd down here for Mississippi State. There's Ellis Robinson. Visor's a little foggy, a little moist towelette. Get that thing open up. I don't know how you see the ball.
Play clock running down. Got it off. Van Buren again takes a shot to the end zone. Caught. What a catch by Akari. He had Humphrey draped all over him. 35-yard touchdown.
Yet another single coverage, and Van Buren just drops one in there. I mean, this kid. How about Mississippi State offensively? They have not been scared. They continue to throw punches. They have pilloried some of these shots downfield, the Georgia secondary.
When Mississippi State lost 41-17 to Toledo, you thought, man, this is the worst team in the SEC. They're going to go 1-11. This team is going to be dangerous the rest of the way. How about this catch?
And the blitz pickup. Once again, Julian Humphrey, just singled up on the outside.
Van Buren's had a heck of a second half, Stinch. 190 yards passing and 2 touchdowns and over 300 yards for the game.
What a ball. And great job by Akari staying on that football. Julian Humphrey, a couple times this year, he has a hard time locating where the football is in man coverage. And Akari finds his way into the end zone again. And this Mississippi State offense, coming into the game, they're running the ball like 40 times a game, trying to shorten games, be complimentary in the football. And instead, in the second quarter, they started to open things up, and you can literally see this offense gaining confidence. The wide receivers repeatedly hitting shots downfield.
It's victory formation for Georgia unless Mississippi State recovers this onside kick. Nick Barmira, the punter, to try it. But Georgia calls timeout to look at the way State is lined up. First thing I asked you today was, did you agree with the thought that Georgia had another gear to get to? And you said yes. Any of those questions answered today for you?
But I gotta say, they're in this half even, you're sitting there going, all right, if it's not for back-to-back, 2 personal foul penalties, pass interference, then a face mask penalty, Mississippi State doesn't get that scoring drive, but then they get a pick and go right down the field. It's the explosive plays that give you pause. Now, from a passing standpoint, you got to love what Georgia's been able to do in this game. The rushing attack has been largely non-existent. There's all kinds of areas where you're going, I don't know what you point to.
You see the kick time for Vandy and Kentucky coming up here in 7 minutes. Barmira gets the big bounce, but a nice catch made by Bell. There are flags down.
Offside, kicking team. That penalty's declined. First down.
Victory formation for Georgia in a 41-31 win. But can't be more impressed with the team that lost by 10 today.
You're not kidding. I mean, this is a team where it looked like, all right, Georgia's going to have to play to keep this opponent, Mississippi State, in the game. And for a moment, you thought that was the case. But no, as this second half wore on, Mississippi State earned their way into this margin, even had a shot to tighten it up.
So Georgia improves to 5-1 on the season, and you see Levy's team is 1-5, but they host number 15 Texas A&M next Saturday. You and I will be there at 4:15 Eastern on SEC Network. Then they play Arkansas, still Mizzou and Ole Miss to come out. Meanwhile, the Georgia Bulldogs are 5-1 at number 1 Texas. College game day there next Saturday. Then 2 weeks later, it's in Jacksonville to play the Gators. At Ole Miss on November 9th, hosting Tennessee November 16th. As tough a 4-game stretch as any team will play this season, and you wonder if what you saw today is good enough for victory moving forward.
I'll tell you what, you think about those 3 passing offenses that you're going to be facing, and obviously teams that also run the football, but specifically you look at Texas and some of the talent that they have out wide. It'll be interesting to see with the difficulties that Georgia had, especially defensively in this game, in the downfield passing game.
Michael Van Buren with 306 yards passing today and 3 touchdowns. Terrific effort for the true freshman in Sanford Stadium. Carson Beck threw for a career high 459 yards, and Georgia at a season high 609 yards. For all the Stinchcombs, all the Schofields, all the Zarzers, for Adam Coppinger, for Greg, for everybody else in the truck, terrific job today. Appreciate Russ Moore back in his home state of Georgia, Kevin Maloney, the best in the business with the stats, and Jonathan, and everybody else up here in the booth. We appreciate all of you. For Matt Stinchcomb and Alyssa Lang, I'm Taylor Zarzer. Georgia survives Mississippi State and wins 41-31. We'll send it over to Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelik in Lexington for Vandy and Kentucky SEC Saturday night.